without further ado, let's get Alex up here. Alex? Woo!
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate the folks who braved it out for the early morning session here on Saturday. I'm Alex May, Associate Director of Strategy, so I work with all of our QSR, fast casual, and full-service dining clients. Quick fun fact about me, my first job was actually working the drive-thru at Taco Bell. Me too. Really? Amazing. All right, so you know about the Crunch Wraps. All right, you know the real secrets. Yeah, and then I also spent some time working on the CRM and loyalty team at Pizza Hut and also ran CRM and loyalty for Dave & Buster's. So I feel like QSR is just like in my blood, I guess. It kind of worked out that way. But today, I'm not gonna give you a huge sales pitch. We'll tell you a little bit more about our platform, and then just kind of want to give you some information about what we're seeing with our clients and in the market space around some important value exchanges and the importance that loyalty and personalization plays in those. So with that, kick it off. Maybe, good start. I'm hitting it. Oh, there. Okay, got it. All right, so our platform, Movable Ink, provides marketers the ability to leverage their data and segmentation to create unique visual content at scale. We sit on top of your ESP or CRM platform, and we like to say we're data agnostic. We're able to tap into any data source you have, data warehouse, CRM, whatever you have. And then we allow our clients to display personalized content at a one-to-one level. We provide content that's data activated, so again, tapping into all of your sources. We provide content that's contextually relevant, so it can make decisions based on a customer's location, behaviors, things like that. And it's all automatically generated. So we're displaying content at the moment of send, open, engagement. And what we allow our marketers to do then is you're building one single campaign versus multiple variations. And depending on who's opening it at what time, we'll serve up relevant content personalized to them. So huge efficiency play and huge efficiency win for our clients. And then in terms of our output, it's just that simple creative tag you see at the bottom of your screen. You put it into your delivery platform, and you're good to go. And then we also personalize content in email and mobile. Our mobile services and capabilities include in-app messages, rich push, app inbox, and also we have recently launched an SMS solution as well, so that's been very exciting. But the big thing is when you develop your content for email, you can easily take that within the platform and move it into your mobile campaigns as well. So you're not having to develop two different sets of creative for your different channels. So again, I know we talked about yesterday how as you go into personalization, creative teams better buckle up. We really help ease that pain, excuse me, and make things far more efficient for our clients. All right, I'm done with the sales pitch, and now I'll get into the good stuff. Hopefully, just kind of give you some nuggets to take home to your teams, and maybe help you solve, at least provide some thought starters to help you solve some of the complex problems that I've heard all of you talk about throughout the week. But first, I want to take us through just the 3 principles of value exchanges and the importance that loyalty plays within those. Principle number 1 is that every single customer is valuable. Some guests are obviously more important than others, but each can bring their own different and unique values. Some, may be really frequent, but have smaller check size. Some might be the opposite, less frequent, larger checks. Some may not order much at all, but they provide brand equity through social influence or other means. But brands really just need to recognize which guests bring certain values and then communicate to them effectively to maximize that value over time. Second principle is that every single customer expects unique value from your brand. And I think the key word there is unique. I think Keith from Whataburger mentioned yesterday, it's a crowded space, and it's really difficult to stand out. And so you really have to hone in. I think, again, with Shake Shack, they do a great job of knowing who their customers are and what's really going to stand out and be meaningful for them. Some guests, probably most, will seek more tangible value, such as discounts, perks, rewards, maybe experiences. Others may seek more intangible, such as praise or some exclusivity. Usually it's a little bit of both, but obviously some customers are going to lean more to one than the other. And brands need to recognize which guests require more tangible or intangible benefits and deliver communications that really provide those rewards in a unique and personalized way. And then the third principle is that loyalty programs are really the primary vessel to bridge those omni-channel value exchanges. There's obviously other vessels, but loyalty really is the primary one. And when used effectively, loyalty programs will deliver data, sales, acquisition, retention, everything that you need to really grow your brand and grow your sales. But they also do a great job of delivering those tangible and intangible benefits to your customers so they keep coming back over and over. We find that you truly can't have an effective loyalty program without some form of sophisticated omni-channel personalization. It's no longer enough to simply just deliver points, right, and rewards to your guests. Now, with that said, I know we've talked about how some brands are just hoping to make it to 2012 right now, and that's totally fine. Like, obviously, having loyalty is better than not having loyalty, and it's a long journey, it's a difficult journey. But really, that true North Star, as the space becomes much more competitive and crowded, is to really strive towards that more personalized type of experience. All right, cool. So covered value exchanges and the importance of loyalty. But what are the most important value exchanges for your business right now? What we're finding is data is still king. And I know it's kind of loaded, might get some eye rolls. Big data's tough. A lot of people have a ton of data that they can't leverage. I think what's really key is it's not about data as a whole, it's about figuring out what data matters most to your business and your customers, and also determining what gaps you have in your data that you need to fill in order to create those more meaningful experiences for your customers. But more specifically, there's really two types of data that we find are the most important. The first is obviously first-party data. First-party data, it really must be the information leader for your marketing strategy. It's really the foundation and the source of key customer information that really is going to power all of your data-driven results. And the second, which I think is more interesting and frankly more powerful, is zero-party data. It's really the most accurate data source available to marketers. And its collection techniques are unique in the fact that it's actively generating customer engagement, which is key. We all know that if you can get your customers to engage more, not only are you going to benefit from really understanding what their wants and needs are, but getting engaged more with their brand is just naturally going to increase loyalty and sales and lifetime value. So that's really the big one that I think needs to be a lot more focused. We all know about first party, but zero party is really the way to go moving forward. Okay, so we've talked about the data, but how do we get it, right? Really, it's trust and loyalty, especially at a time where guests are more conscious than ever about how they're giving their data and who they're giving their data to. It's really important to build that trust and a little bit of loyalty. Obviously, that'll grow over time the more you can communicate with your customers. But trust is really what's going to bridge that gap. And personalization is the key to building that trust. We've done our own research in Movable Ink. Our studies have shown that 78% of consumers value consistency of the customer experience in creating trust. 54% say a personalized experience or relevant communications create trust. And 72% of consumers say they only engage with personalized messages. And that can be, it doesn't have to be crazy personalization, right? It could be very simple. But at the end of the day, people are really looking for that touch and want brands to really understand them and feel like they're heard and they're known in order to engage. All right, so simple, right? You just build some trust, throw in some personalization, start a loyalty program, and you're good, right? The sales roll in. Maybe a little more straightforward from some, but obviously it's much more difficult. Loyalty, gone are the days where you can just have a simple points program like I mentioned before. And loyalty is really, it's more important than ever. 76% of consumers are very reluctant to hand over data without a proper loyalty program in place. And 67% of consumers who frequently buy from the same brand say they're not necessarily loyal to that company. So even though you might look at your data and think you have a strong, loyal base, you might actually not. Those customers may be a little more fickle than you think. In fact, we found that over the past year, 52% of adults between the ages of 25 and 40 changed where they order from because of another restaurant having a better loyalty program. So it's not as simple as resting on your loyals anymore. You have to continue to evolve, make sure you're understanding what your customers' wants and needs are, and kind of look ahead to understand, what is going to drive the most value from your brand to your guests. And then also 68% of consumers think it's worth sharing personal information in exchange for relevant offers, recommendations, and discounts. I'm going to get into a good example from one of our clients that did just that, and has seen a lot of success through it. Last stat for y'all, there is some of this contradiction in the market of, are people really willing to give out their data? Are they more conscious? And what we found is that 83% of consumers are willing to share their data for a more personalized experience. So again, if you make it meaningful for your customers, they will engage with you, provide you information, and help you create a better experience for them over and over again as you continue to grow your relationship with your customers and your segments. All right, so I'm going to get into a client example here. There's going to be two, both from Noodles & Co. This one is personally one of my favorite use cases out of all of our food services brands. It's not the most sophisticated one, but I think they took something that's very easy to implement with us out of the box and made it very powerful. Noodles had just switched their loyalty program. They were more of a stamp-based program, and they moved to a points-based program. And they really weren't sure how their customers were going to react to it, and they really weren't sure what their customers were interested in. So they utilized us to put out a live poll campaign, where, as you can see on the example on the left, simply putting up a piece of creative that is asking customers which reward they would most like to get through the new program. And as customers click and vote on their answers, we then collect that data and we can feed it back directly to our clients. We can do it as simple as like an overnight CSV, or we can tap into APIs and deliver to you immediately for immediate retargeting. But in this case, they collected all of the data, and a day or two later, they retargeted those folks and delivered the offers that each individual customer selected. So obviously, great short-term strategy in the sense that you're crowdsourcing the best offer for each individual customer. Conversion was off the charts for them. It was a really successful campaign. But to me, the most powerful thing that they did is if you look at that creative on the right, they say, we asked, you answered, we rewarded. And I think at a time where, again, customers are concerned about who they're communicating with, who they're sharing their information with, and Noodles showed that directly at the forefront said, if you give us your information and your engagement, we will make it valuable for you. And there's nothing better than that. That's really how they're going to grow their customer lifetime value. And obviously, you can't do that in just a single campaign. It has to be the foundation of your program and your communication strategy, which they do. And it's been successful. But this really set the tone at a time when it was kind of scary for them to switch over this program. They weren't sure they were going to lose folks or not. So they really set the tone, and I've always loved this example. This is a year-in-review campaign. We love year-in-review campaigns in Movable Ink. We actually launched Spotify's first year-in-review campaign, which gained huge social traction for them. This is an example from Noodles. What I love about this is it's obviously very visually compelling. And they're able, through using us, to plug in stats very easily based on each individual customer's purchasing behavior. They did a good job of showing throwing some of the fun stuff there below the fold in terms of how long you've been at the program, favorite menu item, things like that. But what I love of what they did is, at the very forefront, the very first thing you see is how much you saved in 2021 and how many rewards did you earn. And at the end of the day, that's any customer, any of us who is a part of a loyalty program. That's all we want to know. How much did you save us? How did you reward us? Or what experiences did you provide us? And Noodle said, here's the value you got from us, like right there in front of you. And if you continue to order from us, you're going to continue to see that value. What I find interesting within the QSR space, because we do this for all of our verticals, but what's interesting about QSR is that we found this is really an engagement-driving campaign. They weren't expecting conversion from this. It's just they want to engage, make a great experience. Hopefully you click through. But if you deliver an engaging experience and customers click on pretty much any campaign within QSR, they're going to order. We all know it's a fast decision, and people get hungry when they start to engage with your brand. And this campaign, they weren't expecting it. They obviously had a strong open rate, strong click-through rate, but they had a 100% lift in revenue per 100 emails sent. And we're seeing that across with other clients as well. If you can create, whether it's a year in review, it could be a quarterly or monthly statement for loyalty, this is one of the highest conversion-driving campaign or revenue-driving campaigns for them the entire year. So again, if you can make your campaign visually compelling and personalized, people will order, and they'll order quick. All right. Before I finish up, just a few key takeaways, high level, that hopefully you can take back, maybe some thought starters for your brands. But the first one is brands need to recognize, again, which guests bring specific values to their business and communicate with them effectively to maximize those gains over time using first and zero-party data, especially now with the death of third-party cookies. Your owned data is going to be more important than ever. Number two, you cannot have meaningful value exchanges without building trust between the brand and guest. And then number three, personalization is the key component to building trust, growing loyalty, and ultimately boosting customer lifetime value. Thanks all for your time.